Hey y'all, this is Allison hanging out in my space to craft. I've got scrapbook.com live on my laptop here while I'm scrapbooking. I have all of these pictures from my daughter's dance recital of the curtain call is what we're going to call this page. So she's got flowers, her dance friends here on the stage where they got their senior award. And I am going to use day 23 of Christy's Beautiful Life. Here's the sketch. Let's see if you can see that. So it's got a big round floral element here, photos across, and then some photos here. Mine won't be all the same sizes, and then a strip of florals here. There is some mixed media splattering around, some journaling down here, some ribbons here. So we're gonna approximate that. I have a bunch of ephemera here. Some may get on there, some may not. Because there's a lot of black in the costumes, I am going to use some black on the page. I also have these, it's really gray, bold and bright foam letter stickers from Vicky Booten. Let's see. And then I have some super old Creative Memories papers. I think these are from Fabulous. I also have some white for matting photos if I need it. So I have a couple of scraps, and then I have these blue papers. I need to decide if I want to do, I'm going to use this on one side, but I only have one sheet of it, I think. I only saw one sheet of it, and I don't think I would want two sheets of it. So do I want that, or do I want that? And I can't really decide. I have already cut on my Cricut something that approximates this for my round element. So that's going to go there. So let's take a look and see what we think. That's going to be my round element, if I like that on the stripe or not the stripe. I think I might actually like it on the stripe. More interesting. So we'll set this aside. Oh, I could also maybe do it on this. I don't like that as well as the stripe. Okay. And then I have some of this green for, it looks like there is a strip, maybe a strip across here, which will only show up the other side of the pictures, so that's okay. Let's set my scraps over here. I was also thinking if I'm going to do some splattering, and I think I'll do that before, do I want also, I was thinking about inking this, but I don't think I need to ink it. I think this is not inked and distressed looking, so I'm going to stick this down and then do the splattering across the whole thing. So this, I could use glue. It's going to be a lot of taping down. Okay, I'm going to use my ruler here to help get it centered. Set this aside. I am going to trim the pictures up though. These kind of mats with the markings on them are very handy for centering things as well. So I can set my 12 by 12 paper on there, and I know that this needs to go at 6 because that's the center, and then this one goes at 6. That's at 6, that's at 6, and that's okay. That's approximately the center. We'll get those things stuck down. All right, let's do some, I think I have this picked raspberry pink shimmer. I don't know if I'll like that or not. And I have the gold. I think I might want to do, I think the pink is pretty subtle. I don't think it's going to show up much on this pink background. But the gold will for sure. And I may do a spritz and then some sprinkles. All right, here I go. I'm going to start with a spritz. And then a few extra sprinkles. This is going to be covered here in the middle, so and then I'm going to have to let this dry. So I'll be back when that is dry and we can get crafting. Let's clean up my mess before it. I probably need to make myself a splatter box. I'll be back in just a few minutes. All right, so I've matted one of the photos in black. I think that's all I'm gonna do for that. And then sort of laid out the right side is very much like the layout of the right side of the sketch. I'm just going to cut this little scrap strip into a couple of small strips so it looks like that goes across the whole page. There were some lines on the sketch. I don't know if it was really a piece of paper, intended to be a piece of paper, but that's what I'm doing. And then I'm going to take another small one and add it to the middle. I'm trying to preserve a little piece of that paper to put a tag or something on the other side. I'm just going to use my T-square to line that up, and I'm going to just put this in the middle so that if a little piece of it shows, which I will make sure it does, it looks like that paper goes all the way across. So I'm just angling these photos, and I'll make it a little bit of an adjustment in a little while when I go to do the title. But I like that look. The gold splatter, I had added a little bit more gold splatter to the top of that one. But the gold splatter dried, and I like that it's making the page look a little more organic. It's really pretty bold. So I will turn that piece of green paper into a tag. And I'm just going to go ahead and start with the title. As I said, it's Curtain Call. I thought that was a nice title for this. These are the Vicky Booten letters from Bold and Bright. And instead of going all the way across the top of the page, I'm going to adjust these pictures up just a bit so that it sort of stops that top. Did I misspell curtain? I believe I misspelled curtain. I'm missing an I. Interesting. I will go back and fix that. I just saw it in the video. But I didn't use glue on those, so I can easily fix that. So it's not, this is my Creative Memories tag maker, and you can put different size tags in it. But this piece of paper is not quite long enough, so I'm playing with it. And it wasn't in there perfectly evenly, so I just had to round that corner. So now I have a little bit of that green on both pages. I'm pulling out the ephemera now. I do struggle a little bit with the ephemera. I was trying to make these big buttons, paper buttons work, and I couldn't do it. So they ended up not getting on the page. And here I want a little, it has the sketch had some little flags hanging down the back side on one side, so I'm going to add those. So I'm just going to make some little banners here with these scraps, really stretching that one little 2-inch strip of paper pretty far. I'm going to go ahead and cut a little bit off of this striped paper as well, just so there's another little piece of that green on there. But I'm going to need to separate those, so I have this polka dot embossed black paper, and that will bring in another little piece of black on there. There's quite a bit of black in the photos, as I said, so it's not completely out of place. And I just fuss around with these, trying to make sure they're not the same length. I decide that the fatter one should probably be the skinnier one. But everything I do, they all seem to be the same length. So I'm going to flip these around, I think. And then now I'm pulling out the different pieces of ephemera that I had. I have some small paper buttons and some larger paper buttons. Spoiler alert, the large paper buttons that I struggle to put on here, I play with it and play with it and play with it. They do not end up on the page. I think I need to figure out something else to do with them. This just, the pictures are so busy on this page, and I couldn't make them work. So I have this one little ticket that said dance on it, and it doesn't match the vibe of but I don't care. I still wanted it on there. So you can see I'm trying to make those big buttons work. I don't like the big holes in the buttons. You really need to put like ribbon through them, not just string, and they just don't work for me. But that's okay. And then this one flower that's very much like the flowers on the other side. So I definitely wanted to get that on the page. So I'm going to use that. So once I get everything sort of set approximately where I want it, I'll go off camera and stick everything down. I also was trying to use these rainbows. I decided not to in the end. I have two things. One says, do what you love. I'm definitely going to include that. The colors are great with this. It pulls out greens, it pulls out the peachy pinks, and it made sense for the content. I have some sequins in the bag and a couple things that I'm deciding not to use as well. So those, I just keep those in a bin at the top of my desk, and when the bin fills up, I put everything back into my ephemera binders. So I had pulled these florals out, and I want to use them just because there's so many flowers in the pictures. It made sense to me. I thought about putting the small buttons in the middle of the big buttons, but then it hides the decoration in those big buttons. So I like using the flowers a little bit better. And one of them is even hands holding a bouquet. I thought about adding this in for some more black, and the style is just wrong for everything else. So that's coming off. I have these little photo corners that are on there. Those are going to make it on there and stay. And then some balloons because it's a celebration. And I'm just picking up the bits that I haven't used yet, and I'm going to stick everything down. Now you'll see I did keep some buttons, and I pulled out this black ribbon that I'm going to put through the tag, just so there's another little black on that part of the layout. And I have a black leaf on the far right side. So there's a triangle of black, plus the thin black border of the big photo. And now I'm just going to put some green and white baker's twine through each of the buttons and pop them up on some pop dots, and we'll come back and take a look at the result. All right, I have finished popping these up and putting the twine in. I also added a few sequins to each cluster area. So here is the left-hand page. You can see those little clusters. A little spot for journaling if she wants. She probably won't. I used all sorts of different, these are, I think, from an old card kit. Vicky Booten, Creative Memories, Chamel. It all came together with Amy J's sketch, flipped. So join us for 30 days of sketches. There's 30 different sketches that you can use for your crafting, and we'll see you again soon.